There are 350 Division I coaches in America. I happen to be one of them. For that, I'm extremely blessed and honored to be one of them. But basketball is what I do. It's not who I am. I am LeVelle Moton, Levelle-Moton. Ever since I can remember, my grandmother always made me say my name, spell my name, and recite my name because in her words, I was going to be really, really special. I know you guys probably think that head coaches are these self-centered, egotistical individuals who would do any and everything and compromise their morals and values just to win a basketball game simply because we've been in the news lately for an awful lot of wrongdoings. But I'm here to tell you that's not true. The most common question I get is, LeVelle, how did you get into coaching, or what made you want to get into coaching? And the truth of the matter is, I never desired to be a college coach. That's the truth of the matter. If anything, coaching chose me. I didn't choose it. And I'll give you some backstory, and this is why I call it my grandmother's basketball truth. My grandmother was an incredible woman. She didn't have a formal education, but yet she's the smartest person I've ever known in my life. She was a very spiritual woman as well. Whenever we were young, she would always make me get down on 2 knees and pray with her. And she started and ended every prayer by asking God to bless her kids. And I would always have one eye open and one eye closed, and I would be looking at her and I would just be repeating. I didn't even know who her kids was. I was just repeating it. We lived in a housing project, so I hated going to school because I was always teased about it. And anytime I would come home and tell her I was teased, she would simply say, listen here, you got to stop worrying about what other people say about you. They talked about Jesus Christ, so they're going to talk about you. She said, life ain't fair. So my man, you just got to be tougher. And her word was gospel, so I just went out the door with it. The moment in my life where the light bulb went off, I was 9 years old. I was walking into the boys' club, and I saw these Pepsi trucks around. And I thought they was just there restocking the machines. And as I walked into the gym, I had a bunch of 9-year-old friends come up and say, Vell, you got to enter this Pepsi hot shot competition. I said, man, I'm not doing that. That's corny. And then the executive of Pepsi came over. He said, listen, I heard you pretty good. Whoever wins gets a 2-liter Pepsi. And I said, well, sign me up then. Sign me up. Sounds about right. So now I have 9-year-old friends trying to explain to me what a Pepsi hot shot competition was about. And you can imagine the instruction I was receiving. Finally, my mentor came over, Mr. Ron Williams, and said, look, man, there's 5 spots out here. Just shoot at 5 spots. You got a minute time and make all your shots. I said, all right, cool. So they started the music. I started shooting, and I made shot after shot. And after the minute, everyone rushed the floor and said, wow, my man, you just set it like a record. I was like, oh, that's cool, but I need the 2-liter Pepsi. Forget this record stuff y'all talking about. And I took the Pepsi and I went home. And what I didn't know is that was the local championship. The following weekend, I had to go shoot in the state championship. But I took the Pepsi home and I told my grandmother, I said, Grandma, I won the Pepsi hot shot competition. And she said, wow, that's pretty good. I said, they want me to go to the state, but I said, I'm not going to do that. She said, why not? I said, because it's corny. I said, it's really corny. She said, let me tell you something. She said, basketball is a game. Games are meant to be fun. Ain't no fun losing. So you might as well win. So she said, you're going back, you're going to shoot in that state championship. And she said, you got to understand it's bigger than you. You can't be great at anything until you're grateful for what you have. Her word was gospel to me. I went back the following weekend, I won the state championship in Charlotte. The following weekend, I was scheduled to shoot in Atlanta, Georgia. I was going to shoot against the 3-time consecutive Pepsi champion. So when I got there, this was a different atmosphere. I'm shooting in front of 5,000 people at Georgia Tech. And then it come down to me and him. And everyone just thought this kid was going to win because, like I said, he's been champion 3 years prior. So my last round, I needed like 48, 50 points to win. I ended up getting 52. And the kid is sitting in the corner crying as they give me the trophy. And I just remember thinking, like, wow, if I lost, I wouldn't have felt like that. I was only in this for a 2-liter Pepsi. So I don't know, I thought I saw it on Leave It to Beaver or something. I just decided to go up and offer the kid my trophy. I thought that's the nice thing to do. And I said, man, here you go. And the kid took my trophy. So we in the corner snatching the trophy back and forth. I was like, nah, you don't supposed to take this trophy. But it was one of the greatest moments of my life, because what I didn't know is, once I won the Atlanta region, I was scheduled to go shoot in Washington, D.C. at halftime of the Bullets and the Bulls game on national television. I'm flying in the plane. It's the first time ever in the plane. It's the first time out of the housing projects. And I'm seeing all these historical landmarks, such as the monument and the memorials in the White House. And when I land, our first order of business is to go to the White House and meet the president at the time, Ronald Reagan. And he walks up to me and says, hi, how you doing? Good luck tomorrow. What's your name? And I said, my name is LeVelle Moton. L-E-V-E-L-L-E-M-O-T-O-N. And the following night, I win the MEAC Championship. And I'm shooting on national television. I'm coming home, and now I'm a star. And I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, the light has went off for me. I'm going to use this basketball, and I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to buy you this big house and get you this nice, fancy car. And she looked me directly in my face, and she said, I want you to know something. The two most important days of your life is the day that you were born and the day that you figure out why. And when you leave this earth, if people remember you as a basketball player, then you've done a poor job of living. That was really heavy. I was 9 years old. Really heavy. The following year is 1984. I'm sitting in my home with my mom, and the phone is ringing like 65 times in a row. Okay, for you millennials, I was the designated phone answer in my home, right? So back in the day, the phone would ring over and over and over again, and it would only stop for two reasons. Either you answered it or the person that was calling hung up. That's what it was. So this particular day, the phone is ringing over and over and over again. And my mom says, answer the phone. Whoever it is, tell them I'm not here. So I go get the phone, and it's her best friend, Flo. And she said, Puffy, where's your mother? I said, she said she's not here. I was following instructions, man. Following instructions. She said, no, I know she's there. Go give her the phone. So I call my mom, and I give her the phone. And my mom's face begins to drop. And it's April 1st, 1984. I'll never forget the date. And my mom is like, what? What's going on? And I can listen to that conversation. So she covers the phone, and she say, Puffy, run to your grandmother's house and tell her that Marvin Gaye is dead. For you millennials, once again, I was also the designated email guy. My grandmother stayed around the corner, so I had to run to her house. And I busted my grandmother's home, and she was cooking. And I said, Grandma. She's like, what is wrong with you? I said, Marvin Gaye is dead. She said, what? So we go into the room. And they have a breaking news story on ABC. And as they go to break, it's this picture. And she said, I want you to understand something. She said, you see his birth date? That doesn't matter. You see his death date? That doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that dash that's in between, because that's his legacy, and that's his ultimate impact on this world, and that's how people will remember him. Again, I was 10 years old at the time. The following year was the worst year of my life. It was March 1st, 1985, my grandmother passed away. So I just said from that moment on, adversity introduces a man to himself. And I promised myself that everything that I do, I will honor her legacy. Fast forward 20 years later, I'm at a professional crossroads now. My former 7th grade teacher is a middle school principal. And she said, listen, I know you're tired of playing basketball, but I have a job availability for you. You can come be the head coach at West Millbrook Middle School. I said, how much does it pay? She said, $225 a month for 3 months. I'm like, that's $675 for the year. At the same time, I'm being offered an $85,000 coaching job from a Division I institution. So I have a decision to make. And I called my mom, and I said, Ma, I'll call you tomorrow and let you know my decision. And the following day, I called my mom, and I said, Ma, I think I'm going to take the middle school job. Being as though this is a PG program, I can't tell you what my mother said to me. But it was probably in the mind frame of, why would you turn down an $85,000 job to take a job that pays $675? And what I learned in that moment is, when you're making a major decision, you got to trust your instinct. And to me, listening to your intuition is like listening to God's whispers. And when you're facing a major decision, if the first question that you ask is, what will other people think? Then you're not living your life. You're performing for acceptance. So I took that job, and I became the best middle school coach I could possibly do. I got bored with it after a while, and I wanted another challenge. So I started applying for high school jobs. And there was 3 high schools I applied to, and they just turned me down. I won't mention their names, but it was Leesville High School, Wakefield High School, and Millbrook High School. I won't mention their names. And then I get a call from this lady at Sanderson High School who just so happened to be my 10th grade French 2 teacher, but she's now a principal at Sanderson High School. And she says, I'm going to hire you because I believe in you. It's something really, really special about you. You got to understand. I had a 59 in this lady's French 2 class. I don't know what she thought was so special about me. And she gave me the job. I've won a couple of championships at Sanderson High School, and now North Carolina Central is calling. No one ever knows this, but I turned North Carolina Central down because I wanted to stay with the innocence and the purity of shaping and molding lives. That's why I got into this. Some of the alums at North Carolina Central eventually called me and asked me to come back, and I did. So I go to the job interview, and I'm sitting in a room full of committee. I have no Division I experience. I don't even think I'm going to get the job. And all I can do is go in there and just swing for the fences. So I simply say, they asked me, why should we hire you? And I said, well, if you hire me, I will be the ACC school in 5 years. If you hire me, we'll win a MEAC Championship in 5 years. And I'll run my program the same way my grandmother ran her home. And they thought I was kind of impressed. They were impressed with the interview, I guess, so they asked me to go to the chancellor. And I walk into his office, and he was more like a business guy. No one ever asked me a basketball question. I walk into his office, and he said, man, I don't care about your basketball. I know you know that like the back of your hand. I want to know, are you tough enough? And I looked him dead in his eye. I said, look, man, I'm from a housing project where every day I walked out my home, I had to make a life or death decision to get back in. I've been hardened by life circumstances. If I'm not anything in this world, I'm a tough guy. He said, yeah, but you don't have a philosophy. Like, what's your philosophy? And I really didn't have one. And I just looked him dead in his face, and I said, basketball is a game. Games are meant to be fun. Ain't no fun in losing, so you might as well win. And he said, where did you get that from? I said, my grandmother. He said, why did you get that? And I'm just ad-libbing doing this job interview. I wasn't prepared for none of this stuff. Y'all know how it go. And I simply told him, I said, look, it always dawns on me that I walk into these Fortune 500 companies, and I see these big, long mission statements and philosophies, and no one in the corporation knows the mission statement nor the philosophy. The person that wrote it don't even know it. I said, so how can you work together on one accord to achieve one common goal when there's a disconnect of people that don't even know what they're working for? I said, so this would be our philosophy. It's simplistic, it's elementary, it's juvenile, but every person in our program knows and understands that. On March 25th, 2009, he announced me as the head basketball coach. On March 26th, 2009, I was almost fired because my athletic director called me. It was a very unpopular decision. I was the youngest coach in the country. I had 0 experience. The previous team had won 2 games the year before, and there was a lot of alums calling saying, why did y'all hire this dude? He shouldn't even be here. And so my athletic director, she was trying to protect me, and she called me and she said, I need you to come to my office. I need you to go to lunch with a couple of people who didn't think you were worthy of getting that job and prove to them that you're worthy of having the job. And I said, no disrespect, but I'm not going to do that. And she said, why? I said, because I can't worry about what other people say about me. They talked about Jesus Christ. I know they're going to talk about me. And that was it. So our first order of operations, I said, I have to deliver the truth to these young men. In our first practice, our first meeting, we played musical chairs. And my team was like, Coach, why are we playing musical chairs? I said, because I need your attention. I need you to go to class. I need you to commit to excellence. I need you to be the best in all that you can be in all facets. How you do anything is how you do everything. And we have 15 players on the team. I had 14 chairs, half court with their favorite song playing. And it went from 14 chairs to 10, from 10 to 6, from 6 to 2, down to 1. And I told the guy at the end, congratulations, you're the winner. But here's the thing. If you think it was difficult to win a game of musical chairs with your favorite song playing, with people that you know in your own gymnasium, imagine playing that game of musical chairs with 1 million people with 35 spots trying to go to the NBA. And I got their attention. I didn't bust their dreams, but now they knew why I was asking them to go to class. Fast forward, the year's now 2014. And people are holding me accountable for the promise that I delivered in the job interview. I was thinking they forgot about it. I was hoping they forgot about it. But it's 2014, and it's exactly 5 years prior to the interview. And we go to NC State. And we defeat NC State. And we led that game from start to finish. And now we are in the MEAC Championship. And people say, look, man, you said you was going to deliver this game, right? You said this is what it is. In 5 years, you're going to win a MEAC Championship. And we're playing Morgan State in the MEAC Championship, and it's a tight game along the way, and then probably with 8 seconds, this happens.
With just seconds left in the MEAC title game, LeVelle Moton broke down. The enormity of what his team had accomplished and the path he had traveled in his life were just too much to contain.
That was the moment I knew it all was there. I just zoned out with 9 seconds on the floor because I heard my grandmother's voice speaking to me. She was telling me how proud she was. All the hard work, all the doubt, all the belief, it came into play. So when you see me, when you see our program, please understand we do this for bigger reasons. I get a lot of credit I probably don't deserve, simply because I have robbed and stolen all her ideas, her principles, her beliefs, and I've called it a basketball program. And I always never wanted to embrace the fact that she always told me I was special. But I've learned to do that. And I know that I'm special because I had great coaches around me. I know that I'm special because I've had great basketball players around me. But I really know that I'm special because I had a praying grandmother at 5 years old that asked God to bless and take care of her kids, which was me. Thank you, guys. My name is LeVelle Moton, LeVelle Moton.